Hello, 7th grade, and welcome back. This is part 2 of lesson 10.4, so make sure that you've already watched part 1. And unfortunately, moving into this, we're already going to get into an on your own question, so you will have to pause the video, but you are given a box and whisker plot that shows the heights of the roller coaster at an amusement park. You've got 3 different parts that you need to answer, A, B, and C. So A is what fraction of the roller coasters are between 120 feet tall and 220 feet tall. Are the data more spread out below or above the median? And C, find and interpret the interquartile range. So this is a lot like the example we just did in the video previous. I'm not going to go back to it just because I don't want to give away the answers. So make sure that you've already listened to part 1 and you have written out those answers. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video. I want you to answer these 3 questions here on your own. Okay, try and solve it yourself. Alrighty, coming on back, here are your answers. So for A, they're asking between this 120 and 122. So that's this entire spot. Okay, let's circle it. Up until like here. So if you remembered looking at this, okay, it says that your box is about a half of your data, and then one of your whiskers is 1/4. So this circle here that I created encompasses the entire box as well as one of the whiskers. So that's going to be 1/2 plus 1/4, so you'd have 3/4. So 3/4 you have data will be in between 120 and 220. B then is, are the data more spread out below or above the median? So they're asking from the median here. Let's actually get a different color. When you look at this and you look at the highest point and the lowest point from the median, so the median is 180, and to go to 240, it's a jump of 60. And the same goes when you go back down this way. So I said that they're actually the same, so it's neither more spread out above or spread out below. It is even. Okay. And then your last one is finding and interpreting your interquartile range. So that's from the higher part of the box to the lower part of the box. So I take 220 minus 140, you get 80 feet. So basically what it means is that 1/2 of your data has a range of about 80 feet. So most of your data is going to be between that 80 feet mark, between 140 and 220. Okay, 80 feet in that range. All right, let's keep rolling. At any point, let me know if you got questions. It's easier to email or text me. We can always set up individual Zoom classes too if you're really struggling. I have had a few students reach out to me about that. Always make sure you can always rewatch these videos. Look up some other videos on YouTube. That's sometimes what I do with other students who are struggling, and then just ask if they're still struggling to let me know. All right, so we've got another key idea here. Lots of key ideas in this lesson. So this actually comes back to what we were talking about in the last lesson of 10.3 and things that are skewed or symmetric. So remember when things are symmetric, okay, it looks to be that you could fold it in half easily, like right down the median here. The whiskers are going to be about the same length, and the median is going to be in the middle of the box. So for this one, I would say this is symmetric because it's about the same distance, like we were saying, it's about the same distance on each side. If it's then skewed left, which seems weird, okay? Skewed left means that the left whisker is longer than the right whisker. Okay, so skewed left means that that whisker is going to be larger. So it means the left whisker is going to be larger, and it means that more of your data is actually going to be to the right. So when you skew it to the right, your right whisker is going to be longer. So the biggest thing is I would almost feel like this should be skewed to the right because more of your data is this way. But they want the whisker, okay? So whatever length or side has a longer whisker is how you're going to describe if it's skewed left or if it's skewed right. So let's look at this example. So it says that the double box and whisker plot represents the prices of snowboards at 2 stores. So we can do double whisker plots, which mean I have 2 whisker plots on this right above the same number line. Remember, you don't put your box and whisker on top of the number line, especially because of this, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to identify the difference between the two. I would just see a lot of colors intermixing. So the first thing is we need to identify the shape of each distribution. So we're going to talk about if it's symmetric or if it's skewed. And then we need to decide which store prices are more spread out and explain. So let's identify the shapes. We've got store A and we've got store B. Let's look at store A. Store A, based on this set of data and looking at these, I would say that store A is symmetric. It looks to be that the median is in the middle. My whiskers are about the same length. Okay. Store B, though, doesn't look symmetric to me. So let's look at what it kind of looks like. It looks a lot like the skewed right, okay, because the right whisker is larger. So I would say this one's skewed. Am I spelling skewed right? Yeah, skewed right. All right, skewed right. I'm going to expand this page a little bit. So then the second part asks, which store prices are more spread out? Which store's prices are more spread out, and explain. So I'm actually, for this one, going to go ahead and take a look at my IQR for each one. So let's figure out for A. My IQR then is going to be going from the large quartile 3, probably 375, to quartile 1, 225, and that would be, what, 150? Okay, so it's got a range of about 150. Let's see about B. So I'm going to 450, because remember we take quartile 3, so it's the end of this side to this side. Oh, so they actually end up having the same interquartile range. So that's one way you can decide, but another way is taking a look at this data, okay? So you can also just use the regular range, which goes from the largest number to the smallest number. So if I find the regular range for this one, which is 450 to 150, so of A here, that looks like a difference of 300, and then this one I'm going from that largest value, so 650 to 250. Oh, which is 400. So if I was to say which store's prices are more spread out, I would say store B. That although they have the same IQR, where the most amount of data is, this store has a bigger range, okay, of ultimately from the largest value to that smallest value. All right. So let's go ahead and keep going. Again, pause video, rewatch this part if you are still confused. Again, I took the IQR, so it's using your quartile 3 minus quartile 1. And then your regular range, or typically how you would solve a normal range, is taking the largest value minus the smallest. All right. All right, and then we have this one on your own. So this one's another one with about a zoo. It's got a double box and whisker plot. So you've got one with crocodiles and one with alligators and their lifespans. You need to identify the shape of each one, so just like we did before, and which reptiles' lifespans are more spread out. So it's about the same kind of questions here. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, practice this. When you come back, we'll go through the answers. Yes, you need to practice it. You practice it, the better you will get. Okay, don't just go through this. Pause the video. Take the time to write it out. Alrighty, coming on back. What I did first is identify the shape of each distribution. So my crocodile here is skewed to the left because the left whisker is larger. That's how I decide which way it's skewed, is which whisker is larger. It's the left whisker, so it's skewed left. Alligators, so A is symmetric. It looks to be right in the middle. My whiskers look to be about the same size. So then when I get to the other part, which reptiles' lifespans are more spread out, what I did is I took the IQR of my crocodile and my alligator. So I'm taking from that right side of the box to the left side. So for my alligator, it's 55 minus 45, which is 10. My crocodile, it's 75 minus 55, which is 20. So right now I can tell with the IQR that the crocodile number is varied more, but I also wanted to take a look at just range. So I took the largest number to the smallest number, so 80 minus 45, which is 35, and then for alligators it's 60 minus 40, which is 20. So ultimately then, because crocodile continue to have the larger numbers, I would say which reptiles' lifespans are more spread out. It is crocodiles. Ooh. So explaining, so when you explain this, explain out that your data is more spread out. So the ranges, okay, the range is larger or more spread out. All right. And I believe that was our last part to this lesson. So going ahead, we'll talk about your homework. Don't worry about this. Okay. Your homework then is going to be lesson 10.4 on big ideas. Okay. This one is going to be due then on the 13th. Okay, so every Sunday, or when they're assigned, they're due that next Sunday. Okay, so make sure you're getting these done as you're going through. Okay, let me know if you are struggling with it or if you have any questions. Also, keep forgetting about our lovely code word. Your code word today is pen. Okay. So go ahead, you can go right into doing this big ideas math homework because this is also assigned for today. Okay? Have a good rest of your day. Bye.